Hi guys, we noticed that you guys had a lot of questions on 12.3, so that's why I'm making this video, hopefully it's not too long, on homework help for 12.3. The first question looks something like this, where there's 10 friends going to a carnival, they're playing a game. Here's the results from that. So what you want to do is you want to look and you need to put these numbers in order from smallest to biggest. This would be one of those that would be easier if you had it on paper like I did, because you guys just have your computer. But I'm going to go through and I'm going to find the smallest number here, which is a 4. I'm going to write it down. The next number would be a 5. And see, it's nice when you have it on paper because you can just cross it off as you go along. All right, I'm going to finish this up. All right, I wrote them all down. Notice it told me in the problem that there was 10 friends. There's all their names, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that way I know I have all the right numbers. Okay, the first thing it wants is the mean. The mean is the same as the average, and that's where you add them all up and divide by however many there are. Okay, so I'm going to just honestly get my calculator. I'm going to add these numbers up and then divide by 10 since there's 10 numbers. So 4 plus 5 plus 6 plus 8 plus 9 plus 12 plus 12 plus 15 plus 19 plus 23. So I get 113, and when I added I got 113, and then I'm going to divide by 10. So when I do that, when I do 113 divided by 10, it gives me 11.3. All right, so that is how we find the mean. The median is the middle number, and we're going to be doing this a lot. This is with all the box and whisker plots. So median is middle. So what you're going to do is you're going to come up here, and I usually like to just kind of count backwards here. So there's the outside numbers. Go in 1, go in 1, go in 1, go in 1, and I've got 2 middle numbers. So if you have 2 middle numbers, you add and divide by 2. So I'm going to do 9 plus 12 divided by 2 and see what that gives me. The mode is the number that you see the most often. So the mode in this case is, let's see, there's 2 12s. I think that's the only one that repeats like that. So the mode is the one that you see the most often. So that would be 12 in this case. Range, that's where you're going to subtract the biggest and the smallest numbers. So the range is where you do the biggest number, which in this case is 23, minus the smallest, which is 4. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, this one's very similar to that first one, only this time the numbers, and I know it's kind of hard to see, hopefully you can see it better on your paper, but what this says here is that these are how old people are, and then the bar tells me how many. So we've got 3 people who are 15. So when I write these numbers out, I'm going to have to write the number 15 3 times. So 15, 15, 15. So that was just that first bar. The next one here is a 16. Write it so you can see a little bit better. And that one goes up to 4. Let me darken this in, hang on. All right, so 16, there are 4 people who are 16. So I'm going to write the number 16 4 times. And I tried to put that in the feedback a little bit, but I don't know if it really made sense. The 17 bar goes up to 3, so that means that there's 3 17-year-olds. The 18 goes up to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 19 goes up to 2. All right, so in this problem, it said that there were 17 part-time teenagers, or 17 employees. Hopefully when I count these numbers, I get 17. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Good. All right, mean, again, mean, you're going to add them all up and divide. So I just put here mean is the same as the average. You're going to add up all 17 of these numbers, see what you get, and then you're going to divide by 17. The next thing this problem is asking for is the median. That's the middle number. So the median is the middle, and let me show you how to do that again because I literally just count. So there's the outside, so it goes in 2, in 3, in 4, So it's nice if you can write these down because you can just kind of sit here and do this with your number. This time there's only one middle number, so this time I don't have to add. This time the middle is just 17, so there's the median, the middle number. Mode is the one that you see the most, and in this case the bar graph would help you. This is the tallest bar, so the mode is the one that you see the most. That would be our 18-year-olds. There's 5 18s, so there's the most of the 18s. And then again, the range is where you do the biggest minus the smallest. So the range is biggest minus smallest. So 19 minus 15. So that's how you do those. Hopefully that helps a little bit. All right, let's go on to number 3. All right, so here, I darken this one in a little bit here too so you can see this. There's kind of a lot going on here. It told us that there's 20 students. I want to point out that sometimes you don't see these numbers here. So these 4 numbers add up to 20. If I wouldn't have put those numbers there, but I told you there's a 20 total, one thing you could have done to figure this out, to figure out how many kids got a C, is if you did change 20% to a decimal, so that would be 0.20, and then multiply that by the total number, which is 20, and that's where I get the 4 from. Let me show you here. For 40, change that 40% to a decimal, 0.40, multiply it by the total number of kids, and that's where that 8 comes from. So that might be handy to know later. All right, so an A plus is 100. It said that there's 2 kids that got 100, so actually let me back up. Let me go to the smallest numbers first. So for the C, let's see, how many kids got a C? 4 of them. So I need to write the number 74 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The B's are 80s. How many people got B's? 8 people. So I need to write that 8 times. All right, next I need to write 90, the A, 6 times, and then finally I'm going to write 100 twice. Like how my numbers kept getting smaller and smaller there so I could fit them all? All right, now I should have 20 numbers here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Good. So I've got 20 numbers. You're going to go through the same steps again. The mean, you add them all up and divide by, in this case we're going to divide by 20. So for the mean, we're going to add all these numbers. Add 70, 70, 70. So add those up and then divide by, there's a total number of 20 students. For the median, that's where you want the middle number. So the middle number, I would go like this. So I'm going to count in 3 numbers, count in 3 numbers, count in 2 more, count in 2 more, count in 2 more. And I'm just, okay, notice I'm going to get 2 middle numbers this time, 80 and 80. So you would add and then divide by 2 because there's 2 numbers. 80 plus 80 is 160, divided by 2 is still going to give us 80. There's a freebie for you. All right, the mode is the one that we see the most often, and in this case, again, you can look at the graph. Which one has the biggest piece of pie? There's 8 B's. So the number that we were referring to in that one would be 80, so the mode would be 80. This is why we were telling you guys to use number values for your project, because if you stick with letters, it's going to be tricky. And then finally the range, that's where you take the biggest number, which is 100, minus the smallest number, which is 70. All right, I know that one was a little bit weird. Let's go on to number 4. All right, 15, there's our total number again. 15 students took a quiz. So here's their scores on the quiz. Here's how many got each of those scores. So I'm going to start with the smallest one, which is a 2. There's only one person that got a 2. One person got a 10. One person got a 12. 2 people got a 13, so I have to write that twice. 4 people got a 15, so I'm going to write that 4 times. What's next? 3 people got an 18. 1 person got a 19, and then I got 2 20s. I'm going to count to make sure I really have 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. All right. for this one, this is at upper and lower quartile, so I know this is kind of new. First thing I want to do is find the median. I know it didn't ask for it, but remember the median is the middle number. So I need that in order to find my quartiles. So if I count here, if I find the middle number, I want to get it right in the middle here, it's this. That 15 is right in the middle, so that's my median, 15. And you can check, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the lower half, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in the upper half. So do you see how I split it into 2 halves? All right, now what I'm going to do for the lower quartile, I'm only going to look at these bottom middle number, or these bottom numbers. I'm going to find the middle. I'm going to do the same thing again, 1, 2, 3. This is the middle of the lower half. That is what we call the lower quartile. Sometimes it's called quartile 1. I think in the video it said that was quartile 1. So lower quartile or the first quartile. Now, if I want the upper quartile, that's what these bigger numbers, I'm going to have to find the middle of these bigger numbers. So again, you would just kind of count in until you find it, and it is 18. So that's the middle of the upper half. Sometimes that's called quartile 3. So where's quartile 2? That would just be our median. Kind of depending on, which type of book you're looking at or website you're looking at, but we're really referring to these as lower quartile and upper quartile and then median in our homework. So that's how you do that one. While I have this one here, I just want to take a second and I want to show you guys the box plot because I know a lot of you are getting confused on that. This is essentially what a box plot looks like. You make a number line, and my number line has to go from at least 2 to 20. So there's a number line, it's not even that perfect. What we're going to do to make a box plot is these 3 numbers are very important. I'll color code them too. So I've got a number at 13. That was my lower quartile. So I made that one purple because I made that purple. My median was right in the middle. That was at 15, the middle number. And then my upper quartile was at 18, so that was right here. What I'm going to do with those is I'm going to put a box around those, and there's my box. The whiskers come in from the biggest and the smallest numbers. So I have a number at 2, there's one whisker, and then I've got a number at 20, there's another whisker. This whisker is so long because that 2, that kid didn't study for the quiz. That is what we would call an outlier. So that's why this whisker is so much longer than that whisker. I hope that helps a little bit.